I'm going to have a list of all the approved cornermen, because I'm already going to have one person banding everybody up who's approved to be in that corner. Second thing, every inspector that comes in who's working, I'm going to also give them a list of who's in what corner and also the order of the bouts. If I got more than 5 inspectors in back, I'm going to put one inspector in charge of the back. See here, you assign, more likely it's going to be my veteran. You assign the corners and you assign who's going to walk. And what I like is I got excellent teams here in Texas. When I do that, I notice it's just not just one guy walking all the fighters into a corner. They'll give somebody else a break who's assigned to a dressing room. They say, you know what, you walk this one up. You walk this next one up. So everybody's working, they're not stale. But the big fights, I really expect you to stay with your fighter until that fight's over, and then go to whoever was put in charge in the back room to what can I do next? And they'll put you to work, okay? Sometimes I'm gonna need some extra people just sitting around there at ringside, because the big fights, it gets full of people. That ringside, around the cage in the technical zone, it usually holds 22 people each side. So you're talking 66 people. 66 people, and they even sneak in extra chairs. You gotta make sure that the right kind of bands are put on the people who are supposed to be in there, because a lot of times the fighters will finish fighting, they'll sit down. They're not supposed to be in there. We got officials who we got designated areas where they sit at, they're not supposed to be in there. Definitely, inspector, if you're not working, you're not supposed to be in there. We do not have seats. If you have a seat on the technical zone, that's because you're watching that corner. One thing when you're watching that corner, when you get put in charge of the corner, I don't want you sitting, here's the ring right here. The corner men are right here. I don't want you sitting behind the corner man looking at them, because what happens, you look up and you start watching the fight. And these guys are doing everything. Why don't you just position yourself in front of them, looking at them? Okay? So you're looking at them, looking at the fight. You're looking at him getting up. You're looking at him and mixing something in the container. You're looking at him putting something in his hand ready to give to his fighter in between rounds. You're not behind him looking at the fight, because it would happen to me too. If I'm sitting right there and then I hear the crowd go crazy, I'm gonna look up, man, what's going on? Okay? No, look at your corner, what's going on? Look at the surroundings, look at the people sitting on the outside, because somebody might have got in there, his manager's sitting right behind him. He can't be coming up to the ring coaching. One time I had an inspector, I'm not gonna say no names, that's true. And he was supposed to be sitting down. Well, the daddy runs up. What does the inspector do? He picks up his hand so he can go underneath him. He wasn't even supposed to be in that corner. We got him out of there. Both him and the inspector. So sit on the inside, preferably by ring, where you won't be in the way, facing them. As soon as they go up, you go up. If you're a tall inspector, there's a lot of tall inspectors in here. Here's the corner. They got the fighter right here. Then you're able to do like this, look down, see what's going on, okay? Make sure you're looking. You got one guy on this side. If the cut man's on this side, then you get on this side. He's gonna have one here, you get right above him. If you can't get a good shot, you step in the ring, and now you're in the ring. Here's the corner right here. You're right over the head corner guy giving instructions. What's going on? You look up every now and then at the guys, and you stay looking there. Big fights, the championship fights, I'm gonna have one on the inside, one on the outside. Okay? Look at the corner, very important, look at that corner. We had that one incident where they said that one fighter put smelling salts or something on that fighter. We looked at our inspectors. Luckily, our inspectors were looking down. One was looking away, but just for a small second. But in other people's eyes, look, they weren't even paying attention. And all they saw was that much of the clip. As to when we look at it, we study the whole clip. For the time the bell rang, they had the whole minute. We look at the whole minute. People just see the one part that they put on the news. Oh man, look, they're cheating. You break it down, look at it all the way, and it'll self-explanatory itself. So what you need to do is be in the right position, looking at what's going on in the corner. That's your ringside duties. I'm gonna have a ringside duty of a check, not a check collector, a contract runner. Contract runner is gonna have the check. What happens after the fight, the promoter hands me the pay for each fighter. On the contract itself, I put on the contract how they won, how they lost, how much of a suspension they got, and how much money they received. Because sometimes they'll have their pay will be $5,000. They deducted $100 for licenses. That's going to be written on that contract. So when you get back there, he goes, hey, I only got a check for $4,900. You going to look at the deductions? Well, they deducted $100 for licenses. Okay, sign here. Right here it says you won. You're going to read out what happens. You lost by unanimous decision, and you got 12 days suspension. You cannot fight till this day. No, the date will be listed on there. Now, if they got knocked out and they would have been their fourth knockout in a row, and the doctor said put them on indefinite, that contract's going to say indefinite. So when you go to that corner and say, and this, I would hate to do this, tell them that you're on indefinite suspension, because all of a sudden, what? I got to fight next week. What? Well, you shouldn't have got knocked out. You know what? Now, if you want to talk about your indefinite suspension, go talk to the supervisor. He's right there at ringside. Now, if he comes up to me, I'm going to say, you know what? You had excessive losses, and that's why. That's it. You could file a complaint, or you could do basically you write a complaint, so you could turn it over. You could ask for a hearing. But if the doctor said it's excessive losses, because the doctor sets the suspension times, we don't. Doctor looks up, and doctor got a guideline on what to give. You know, right now it's minimum 7 days. As soon as you step in that ring, you got 7 days suspension. Even if you knock that guy out in 10 seconds of the first round, that guy's going to get 30 days. If it's the second one, he gets 60. If it's 3 in a row, either he gets indefinite or a half a year. Sometimes that gets in guys in there. Boxing is the only sport that you don't have to have an amateur background to participate in. And there, believe it or not, there's people out there who put people in with no fights. We can't research them. We ask them questions. You know, not everybody's honest. They get in there, all of a sudden the bell rings. They start looking like a windmill, just throwing punches from where they get knocked out. That kind of fighter, he would put on an indefinite suspension for lack of boxing skills. Now, that fighter ever wants to come back, or he asks you, well, how can I go back? I said, well, when you learn how to box, send the supervisor a tape. He'll look at your tape, see if you learned any boxing skills, and then they might lift your suspension. Because you're going to get all these questions back there, okay? But you're going to learn the answers just as you go along. You're not going to have all the answers today. But you know what? When you're working out there, you're going to be with a veteran, and they should answer the questions for you or find the right answer. If you don't know the answer, don't answer it until you get the right answer. And you're usually going to get that by your supervisor. By the time it gets to your supervisor, you have the right answer. Now, the ringside duties that come along is we don't want you walking around, because the fight's going on, you got paying customers. Try to stay low. Try to stay in the neutral corner and in the other corner. Always try to face the crowd. Now, if you're just not working in the corner, you work in the technical zone, look around what's going on. Make sure there's no alcoholic beverages being drank in there. Make sure there's nobody cheering for nobody in there, because that's a neutral area. I mean, there's no fans. Yeah, you're going to have the promoters and stuff like that. Their fighters are fighting, but more and often they behave themselves. Okay. Very important, when the bell rings, well, the first thing the inspector does is run up the stairs. Remember, you're looking at them. You hear the knock. It's loud. I'm doing that because it's 10 seconds or 5 seconds. Okay, sometimes TV asks for 10. If they don't ask, we go 5 seconds. That's not to tell the TV. That's to warn the referee, get in position, the round's fixing to end. Okay? That's to tell you the round's fixing to end. Either you're going to get ready, if you're having to jump in the ring to inspect that corner, you want to be the first one in there, jump in there, even hold the ropes while the cornerman jumps in there, inspect what's going on. End of the fight, you don't get in the ring. If there's two of y'all, one gets in the ring, facing the outside, the other one gets to the top of the ring or cage and stand right there, and cornerman, come on in, cornerman, come on in. And if he got a promoter or manager, you'll be known. You're going to let this guy in, this guy in. All of a sudden, his brother's, he jumps up there. No, you got to stay down. No, you got to stay down. Mother's going to try to get in there. Grandfather's going to try to get in there. You keep them down. If they don't have the proper band, or we didn't tell you that they're allowed in there. Okay? When we have these big fights, we sometimes got up to 6 promoters there. But we'll tell you who's supposed to be in there. Okay? And that's just going to take practice and for y'all to do big events. In September, we're supposed to have a couple of big events, semi-big events. Mega event is when our gate goes over $2 million. And them shows, I usually have 12 to 18 people working, okay? And once again, it's by what area you're in of the state. Sometimes if I got an area who hasn't had too much action, you know, they've done 2 shows so far, I might call the El Paso crew and say, hey, y'all come down here. Dallas has been slowing down. All they've been doing is MMA. You know what? I want them to work some boxing. Dallas, come up here. Okay, because that's not going to be at the expense of the promoter. This is what we have in the general fund, okay? But I prefer it if I call the Dallas crew, hey, I need this guy, this guy, this guy, if all y'all 3 ride together. You see, that way the travel would be on one vehicle, y'all's hotel, y'all get a hotel. A lot of times, some guys want to save some money, and you know, they ask, hey, can we stay with you? Can I stay at my grandma's house? Can I stay at my mother's house? That's fine. That's fine. You can stay wherever you want. Now, if I let you stay in my room, you got to put up with my snoring. Okay? Because a lot of times the guys that come up, like in the Laredo, I bring up the guys from the valley. It's 2.5 hours, but sometimes when you get out at midnight, it's going to be hard to drive back to 2.5 hours, and they don't want to get a room. I say, you know what? Y'all come crash over here. They'll sleep another 2-3 hours, and then they'll head back home. So we all work as a team, and now I got about, I think about 2 or 3 couples in here. Those are good teams. We're gonna send them out together too. And, you know, that'll cut down a little bit on the expense, but it's not the expense I'm looking at. I'm looking at the safety of the fighter, the general public, as well as making this the #1 in the United States. Right now, California has been #1 as long as I've been around. Before I leave, I want to be #1. Okay? And with these training sessions we're having here, California has training sessions all the time. We're going to be having training sessions all the time. Say I have an officials training session, y'all come. So you can see what they look for, what they're supposed to be doing. If there's a convention coming around close by and you can make it, go to it. I suggest that. I want to be the most experienced. I want to be able to say, I can't make it today. You know what? Aladdin, so-and-so, Alfred, y'all go run the show. Y'all know how to do the weigh-in. Y'all know how to do the show. I would love to do that. I would love to be able to do 12 shows in one weekend. Okay, man, that would be awesome. That would be a record. I remember for the longest it was just me and my former boss, and it was just me and him, and we're doing about 10 to 12 shows a week at a Tough Man shows. That's where I started at. Those are 3-day shows because they will fight on Friday and Saturday. So you'll be there Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So we done it, and then Henry used to help us out. So it was a lot of business, but every time we go a little bit bigger, we get more people. And the way I got my job, the way Robert got his job, the way Gus got his job, Henry, everybody works here, they started right there. That's how they started. They built up their experience. And the positions ever come open, they put in their application. They would interview. They had enough knowledge and enough experience, and the interview went well, you know, you might be offered a job, okay? So let's all remember what we're here for, the safety, making Texas #1, and just the general public have a good time at each show, okay? Any questions?
I noticed that the shows, they started to have more media coming in, and they're bringing their friends to the show for media. What can we do to stop all their friends and access?
On the media, we got to talk to the promoter, and what we need to do is talk to the promoter, say we have legit media that are going down. Either they have credentials, and remember, TDLR is in control of that technical zone, so we can limit it too. Like when I go, I'll tell them, you can have 3 media people, and 1 can be your personal photographer. Now, when I call media people, that 1 media person cannot bring somebody to hold his bag, somebody to hold the computer. No, they gotta have to sit outside. You basically gotta set the rules before you get there. You can't make the rules when you get there. You set them up before you get there. Now, if that's happening, just let us know. If it's interfering with your job, having to work that corner, having to work technical zone, be in the dressing room, let us know. Because sometimes we could have 6 media, but nobody's there. It's not going to bother us. But we got a full house, yes, we're going to be limited.
I've noticed lately with new high-tech phones and technology, you know, because I'm kind of old school, but the rules or or the guidelines about ringside flashing and lights? You know, they got these.
Oh, good question. Try to get their attention. Tell them no flash, because just a flash would, you know how you get that flash in your eye? That red dot could keep you from seeing a punch coming in, a kick coming in. So it's very dangerous. So make sure there's no flash photography. And we also like to.
Judges, it's kind of hard for judges too.
And judges too, if they're in the plain sight, okay?
Beer's gonna be there, but it's gotta be in a plastic cup, right?
All drinks got to be put out in cups. The only thing that we allow in bottles is the bottled water, being that's what the fighters are using in the corner, bottled water. I'm drinking bottled water while I'm at ringside. Reason being is if somebody gets upset, they usually chunk in, and if they're intoxicated, they're chunking their beer. If they throw it in an open cup, usually that beer is gone by the time it gets to the ringside. Coca-Cola, whatever they're serving up in drinks, same thing, will get poured out. Because if it lands on the ring, you're going to have a sticky mess. Their feet can get stuck, twist an ankle. So that's why that's like adding water. Other than spilling water, we could wipe that up, okay? To this day, I haven't had nobody chunk a water bottle. I guess if that ever happens, then we'll have to switch to cups, okay? Any other questions?
Is there a way of finding out of all the upcoming events or maybe the training seminars that are coming?
If you got my card, I got my business cards back there. There's our website on there, combative.sports at tdlr.texas.gov. Go to our website, go to Combative Sports page, and when you get to the Combative Sports page, just scroll down, and they'll have all the events that are coming up. It's going to have boxing, MMA, combo events. You go to this website here, keep rolling down, and then there's all the upcoming fights coming up. See, there's Houston, Corpus Christi, El Paso, Laredo, El Paso. See, and we put these in. As soon as they put in for them, we put them on here. So, okay, so you can look at that and see what's coming up. And, well, that's where I'm going to be scheduling off of this schedule of where you're at, or I'll bring you down here for a big show. Or if I notice that you're an excellent inspector, I'm going to be taking you all around the state. Okay? We don't have no rotation in inspecting, but I'm going to use the best, and I'm going to try to use everybody, because I'm going to give everybody more than a fair shake to see if they can cut it. And you might not like it. You might do it and say, you know what, this ain't for me. Please let me know. Don't just keep it to yourself, because I might be able to do something where you do like it. I might be able to do something where, you know what, sorry, you know what, you want to try to be a timekeeper. You want to try to be a judge. Start doing this. There's other venues. You want to, because people love, everybody here loves what they do. Because you know what, since we've been here, not once have I heard, what do we get paid? Did y'all notice that? It's because y'all love this sport. Okay. Okay, want me to tell you what y'all get paid? As of right now, it's $10 an hour. Okay, but then you get paid your pre-diem, all your expenses if you have expenses, but only if you stay overnight. If you do a show here in Austin, all you're gonna get paid is your travel money, driving from here to there, back to your house, and your hours. But say you go to San Antonio, from Austin, you're more than welcome to stay that night of the fight, because the fights are usually over 11, 12, and we don't want you driving that late. Now, if you decide to drive back, that's because you decide to drive back. And if I ever see a chance that, you know, that there might be a chance that something might happen to you, I won't schedule you to, you know, because I know you're also going to be driving home. I just don't want nobody to get hurt. I don't want to get that phone call, okay? Don't solicit fights. You can send me an email, say, Greg, I noticed we got a show here. Can I shadow it? I'll look, make sure I ain't got too many people shadowing already, or if I might have some officials shadowing. If I got room, I might say yes. Now, right here, right now, I got officials who are either timekeepers, judges, and referees. We can also use it as an inspector, okay? So be ready. And like I said, if you want to further your career, your hobby, you want to try to be a judge, you know, there's ways to do it. Just asking, and I'll tell you what you got to do. Mostly it's going to be going to seminars, training, shadowing, and, you know, if I could mention Mr. Cavey here, he's been doing it for almost 2 years, and he's fixing to come out.
What do you do in the event that you're inspecting and you're watching the corner, and it's not a major event where you have 2 inspectors, and like you said earlier, like nature calls, you're the only inspector in that corner?
Well, if it's that much emergency, just let us know. Because the other guy, if there's another guy in the other corner, guess what? I'll put him in neutral corner where you can watch both corners. Okay? But if it's the main event, semi-main event, then, make sure you go to the bathroom before you get up there. Okay, so if you got turned down the show because you got to go to a wedding, a family function, or you got to work that afternoon, no, that's fine. I don't want you to put your family life ahead of this. I mean, behind this, put this in front of your family life or your job, okay? I think that's more important, your job and your family, okay? This is just a hobby. So if you can't work it, just let us know.
Quick question on pay. So if you're going from one city to another, maybe it's a little bit of a drive. Does your pay start when you get to the venue? How does all that work?
Okay, you got to sign. I signed Mr. Javier here to go work a show in Laredo, Texas. But when he leaves his house at 9 o'clock. He gets to Laredo at 2 o'clock because he drives 55. Okay. He's getting paid from 9 to 2 o'clock. He checks into his room, he's still getting paid. He goes to the venue for the fight, he's still getting paid. Now, when he finishes the fight, he gets back to the hotel, the clock stops. He falls asleep, wakes up, he's heading back, he's getting paid. He gets back to his house, closes the front door, he stops getting paid.
You will advise us which travel to take, right? Either be airplane, bus, or car?
No. Y'all are contractors. Y'all could go bicycle, train, whatever route you want to go. Henry one time took a train to El Paso. He's never been on a train. It came out cheaper than a plane flight, but it took him a lot longer to get there. He took a train. We had one guy used to take a bus. So the bus started getting there late. So I said, well, I stopped putting him on there because he was getting there late. So you could go, just as long as you get there on time, your scheduled time. And like I said, if it takes 4 hours to get there and you got to be there at 4 o'clock, don't leave at 12. Leave at 11, 10:30, because you're going to have to stop, use the bathroom, pick up a snack, fill up with gas, check into your hotel room. So always give yourself plenty of time to get there. Give yourself enough time to say, I had a flight that's going to take me 45 minutes, then take off 45 minutes earlier. Well, make sure your tires are good. Okay? Sure, your oil's good. Any other questions? Well, thank you.